So, we are going to read from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 2, contents of Gita summarized, text number 17. We are discussing the nature. The Lord is telling us about the nature of soul. So, you can please chant after me. Avinashi tu tad vidhi.
Avinashi tu tad vidhi.
It's not she, it's she. Avinash, not Avinashi, it's Avinashi.
Avinashi.
Okay? You have to change your pronunciation. Avinashi tu tad vidhi.
Avinashi tu tad vidhi.
Yena sarvam idam tatam.
Yena sarvam idam tatam.
Vinasham avyayasyasya.
Vinasam abhyayasya.
Na kaschit kartumarhati.
Na kaschit kartumarhati.
Avinashi tu tad vidhi.
Avinashi tu tad vidhi.
Yena sarvam idam tatam.
Yena sarvam idam tatam.
Vinasham avyayasyasya.
Vinasam abhyayasya.
Na kaschit kartumarhati.
Na kaschit kartumarhati.
Avinashi tu tad vidhi.
Avinashi tu tad vidhi.
Yena sarvam idam tatam.
Yena sarvam idam tatam.
Vinasham avyayasyasya.
Vinasam abhyasya.
Na kaschit kartumarhati.
Na kaschit kartumarhati.
Please chant.
Avinashi tu tad vidhi.
Avinashi tu tad vidhi.
Yena sarvam idam tatam.
Yena sarvam idam tatam.
Vinasam abhyasya.
Vinasham avyayasyasya.
Na kaschit kartumarhati.
Na kaschit kartumarhati. Before I go forward, there's a small joke, a real life joke. His Holiness Jayadvaita Maharaj was in a, is it switched off? Can you switch off? Yeah. Was in a booth called Question Answer Booth in America. There was a Hare Krishna fair or something, and very fat ladies came. Two very, very extremely fat. Especially in America, they are really fat like jumbo size, like a hippopotamus or something like that. So then she was talking to Maharaj, and Maharaj says, "You know, we are not the bodies." Then she said, "What a relief." Because she had such a big body, what a relief that we are not this body. So like this. And actually not only for her, it's for all of us. All of us are in anxiety only because we think we are the bodies. Well, we are in the body, we have to take care of the body, we have to eat, sleep and all those things. But we must remember that we don't need the body. Actually, this body is not needed. It is only given to us because we wanted sense gratification. So the root, the Hare Krishna mantra bhakti acts on the root itself, and that it destroys the desire of sense gratification. So now the Lord, in order to make us understand, I should do something for my self-realization, I must understand what is my real self. Does it make sense? Yes. If I want to realize myself, I must at least intellectually distinguish myself from my body. Then only I will make an endeavor for self-realization. This is what we have learned in the previous shloka. That's why the Lord is distinguishing the Atma from the body. Then a person will try for self-realization. So now let us try to understand this shloka. Very interesting shloka. It tells about the amazing nature of soul. So first we'll see the word meanings. So translation, that which pervades the entire body you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. Before we did the go forward, let us again see the shloka. Avinashi tu tad vidhi. So now tu, what is the previous shloka we have discussed, 2.16? 1 second, just let us see, because there is, the word is tu. This is how Sanskrit has to be seen. When he says tu, what does it mean? He says, the Lord says, yeah. So then 2:16 was saying there was no endurance of the body. There was the body, it will not endure. And the soul does not get destroyed. So now he says two. You must understand that, but you must understand that this vidhi means understand. Vidhi means to know, and vidhi means jano, samjho. Try to understand that that Atma is Avinashi. Avinashi, you understand? Those who know Sanskrit, it cannot be destroyed. Who is that Atma? You and we are that Atma. That itself gives a major relief. Because even if we lose money, we think that we are finished. Is it not? Amazing. Okay. Yena sarvam itam tatam. Idam tatam. Idam means this body, and tatam means it pervades. Sarvam idam tatam means it pervades the entire body. Sarvam means complete body. What pervades your entire body is our consciousness. Now, what is amazing? The soul is very small. We'll discuss in this commentary. 1 by 10,000th of a tip of the hair. The tip of the hair, you divide into 1 by 10,000 part. That is the size of the soul. But its consciousness is spreading all throughout the body. How should I detect it? Okay, do a very small experiment. Just touch your feet with your hand, or hand your with your hand. Do it. Everybody should do it. So can you feel your right hand or left hand is touching your another hand? Can you feel that? Who is feeling that? Who is aware of that? Or you are seeing something. So that experience is by the consciousness of the soul. Does it make sense? So now, just like in your room, if there is some tube light, so tube light or bulb has a very small size compared to the room, but the light of that bulb is pervading all over the place. The size of Surya, that means sun, is very small compared to the universe. Do you agree? Do you agree? But it is illuminating the whole universe. These examples will come in the commentary. I'm just saying here so that you make this point understand. What is all pervading? The soul is not all pervading within the body. My dear devotees, please understand. The soul is not all pervading throughout the body. It is the consciousness of the soul which is pervading, just like the light of sun is pervading all throughout the universe. Do not make any misunderstanding in this. One devotee was talking about, asking me that whether he should explain about creation to one other devotees, and he has a difficulty understanding the creation. No problem. But whenever you explain tattva, it has to be understood very nicely, because even if you explain properly, people will understand differently. So suppose what will happen if you understand wrongly, then they will understand completely wrongly. No problem. It takes some time to understand these things. We repeat again and again, so it descends or sinks into our heart. समझ में आ रहा है ना ये बात? It's a very easy example which will be given. One light is there in one place and it illuminates the whole room. Similarly, soul is situated in the heart region, but the consciousness of the soul is pervading all throughout the body. Is it clear? Yes. Okay. Before we go forward, we not only have to discuss that we are soul, we have to also act as soul. But this point I'll discuss if we have time. We'll see how we can act as soul. Vinasham avyasya nakaschit kartum arhasi. Avya asya. Asya means this. Of this soul, which is avyaya. Avyaya asya. Can you break up the sandhi? Avyaya asya. Asya means iska. Of this. Of this soul, which is avyaya, which is indestructible. Avyaya means apakshay shunya, free from degradation. It cannot degrade. So when it cannot degrade, then there is no possibility that vinasham nakaschit kartum arhati. Kaschit means in any way it is not possible that this avyaya soul can be destroyed. Can you understand the meaning of these two lines? You must understand avinashi tu tadvidhi. Please understand that the soul is avinashi, indestructible. Yena sarvam itam tatam, by which this body, which is destructible, is pervaded through its consciousness. Also, you must understand the consciousness of the soul cannot be destroyed also because it is the eternal property of the soul. You cannot remove the light from the sun. So do not think that if soul cannot be destroyed, then maybe the consciousness can be destroyed. It can be covered over just like the bulb can be covered over with a dark paper. But you cannot remove the light. You cannot remove the light from flame or something like that. Does it make sense? So the consciousness of the soul gets covered by the modes of material nature. Mode of ignorance is covering more, mode of passion is less, and mode of goodness is very less. But it can never be taken away from the soul. You understand this point? Trees also have consciousness, but they are completely covered by mode of ignorance. Is it very clear? And in our own consciousness, you will see how we were completely covered by ignorance, so we could not understand spiritual subject matters. But when we took prasad, when we chant Hare Krishna, then we are able to understand. So we were conscious also earlier, but our consciousness was covered by modes of material nature. So as we gradually become purified, we can understand all these subject matters. So, okay. And then third line is Vinasham Avyasya. That means the soul which is indestructible, or this which is cannot be, which is indegradable or which is unchangeable, it is impossible. Na kaschit kartum arhati vinasham. It is impossible for that soul to be destroyed, because it is at any point it is not changing at all. Only thing which is getting affected is its consciousness, because of the modes of material nature, but the soul itself is transcendent. Okay. Let us go forward. We have read the translation. The Lord further, Gita Bhushan commentary. The Lord further explains the nature of the body and Jivatma just discussed in 2 more verses. The previously he has discussed that body is unendurable. It will anyhow die. It's actually constantly changing, and Atma will not change in 2.16. And this way again he is explaining the same point, that soul is not destructible. Why he is explaining soul by so many ways? Well, my understanding is maybe one shloka will hit and we'll understand. The Lord is explaining the nature of Atma almost in the same way, a little bit different. Avinashi, indestructible, unchangeable. Maybe one shloka will hit us and understand us. Otherwise, very difficult. Because we are too much attached to money and mundane things in this world. We are in bodily conception of life. So it has to be explained and repeated in different ways so that we can understand. Understand that the substance known as Jivatma is eternal, Avinashi. Okay, Avinashi means constant. It has no beginning, it has no end in terms of its existence. I'm not saying no beginning and no end in terms of space, that the Atma or living entity is all pervading. I'm only saying it has no beginning and no end in terms of time. Please be very careful what I'm speaking. Not that you start explaining, oh, Prabhuji told Atma has no beginning, no end. He's a Mayavadi, he's telling that Atma is like God. No, I'm only saying Atma has no beginning in terms of time and has no end in terms of time. You cannot say at some point of time Atma came into existence, and you cannot say at some point of time it will become vanquished. But we are not saying Atma is all pervading. That won't be told by any time, by any devotee. Atma sarvavyapi nahi hai. नहीं समझ में आ रहा है? ठीक, थोड़ा हिंदी बोलना पड़ता है. It seems English is weak. Okay. Many reflections from this point itself. What is the difficulty in giving charity for Krishna? What is the difficulty? I was chastising one devotee. The Prabhu, is he here or not? Okay, he's not here. Then I can say. I say that Prabhuji, you are fixing crores of rupees for your daughter and for your brother, for your son and all that. Fine. I'm asking you to give 50% of your salary now, because now you're just working for as a hobby. You don't need money actually, and you are finding it difficult. So then you see, not only with him, with so many of our practitioners of Krishna consciousness, we tend to become attached to money. This is the nature of money. We become attached to money. And then I said, Prabhuji, you have already secured so much Lakshmi for you, like 1 crore for himself, 1 crore for other. Do you feel secure? Still, do you feel secure? No. That's amazing. No matter how much money you keep with yourself, still you will feel insecure. I am not saying that one should not keep money with yourself or like that. But money will not give you real sense of security. Whatever, even, and rather we feel more insecure. If what if somebody will take the money and all this, is it not? So what I'm trying to say, as soul, we are servants of Krishna. So now, how to act as soul when we serve Krishna? by our body, by our mind, by our words, by our money, in any way we can to spread the glories of Krishna. That's how we act as soul, my dear devotees. Please hear very carefully, even though when we are while in the body. Because you might say, like I was also saying that yesterday I was giving Hindi lecture on Atma. After the lecture, I was eating idli and sambar. Nicely. Now somebody will say, hey, if you are not the body, why are you eating this idli, sambar and pakoda? Chutney? What kind of sadhu you are? Bhogi, dhongi, bogus person? No. My dear devotees, what will you do when you go to Golok Vrindavan? You will eat prasadam. What will you do? Go there, chant Hare Krishna, hear about Krishna. The same activities we are going to go to there, we are doing here. So when we take prasadam, then we are acting as soul. When we take bhoga, then we are acting as bhogi or body. Does it make sense? When we are talking, we are going to talk in Goloka also. So when we are going to talk about Krishna, we are acting as soul. When we talk about mundane subject matters, we are acting as body. Does it make sense? It's a very great secret. Iha yasya harer dasya karmana manasa gira nikhilasu api avasthasu jivan mukta sa uchyate. We have heard this so many times. A devotee who is desiring to serve Krishna by body, mind, and words, even desiring to do this, he is liberated. Even in this body, while living in this body, he is liberated. So yesterday, this point I forgot to speak. Yes, I know that I am not the body, but how to act not the body but a soul by engaging in Krishna consciousness in various ways throughout the whole day. And that's why it makes you enlivened. If you have a hectic schedule of serving Krishna, and one devotee was saying too hectic for you, I'm like, no, it is hectic and I want it to remain hectic because it is very blissful. It's very blissful when we see devotees chanting together. Like I was chanting Kirtan with the Brajvasis yesterday. It was so nice to chant with them. So we become happy. Rather, if we don't have service, then we have service for Maya Devi. And she beat us like a donkey. So we don't want to be beaten like a donkey. We should have some engagement for Krishna service, some way or another. Yes. Okay. So this is the point I wanted to say, apart from this discussion, that we have to act as soul also. This whole body, idam sarvam, is pervaded by the soul. The body is pervaded by the Atma's consciousness, its capacity to know objects beyond itself, dharma bhuta jnana, including the body. I'll read this and you will understand. Very easy. I have explained this before in Hindi classes also. This is a term used by Ramanuja, Sripad Ramanujacharya, indicating that the jiva has the ability to know objects other than itself as well as having self-knowledge. Impersonalists argue that Brahman is pure consciousness without knowledge of itself or anything else. So this is a very nice point. It may go a little bit overboard today's class, but this is a very interesting point. I have explained it so many times, this point. Atma has Jnana Shakti. Jnana Shakti, you understand? So, Rudra Prabhu, now I am looking at you. Are you aware that I am looking at you?
Yes.
This webcam also is between. Is it aware that it is looking? I am looking at him?
Yes, you are aware. He is not
aware. No, he. We cannot even say he. It. It is not aware. I am not. You cannot say it. Vijay cannot be called it. It, you understand? It and he.
Yes.
It and he समझते हैं, इतनी language समझते हैं ना. It and he. It means a dead matter. But he means a boy. She means a girl. She is conscious person. Now, let's say whose name I should have. Milen Prabhu, are you sleeping? No, obviously if you were sleeping, you couldn't answer. So as soon as I joked with you, then you were saying, no, you smiled, no. So you know that you are not Anish Prabhu, is it not? Anish Prabhu knows that you are not, he is not Milind. I know that I am not Shashikant Sharma. Shashikant Prabhu knows that I am not Shiv Krishna Das. Does it make sense? Are you also all aware that you are in a room sitting somewhere and hearing Bhagavad Gita or something? You may not be understanding anything, maybe. I'm just joking. But definitely you are aware that you are doing something in somewhere. These objects are there, this fan is there. And none of these objects are aware that you are aware of them. Those things you are able to understand. We must understand the difference between Jad and Chetan, between conscious and non-conscious. The very symptom of consciousness is that I exist. Srila Prabhupada explains in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita. What is this consciousness? I exist. Shyam Murari Prabhu, do you exist? आप है ना, अस्तित्व है ना आपका? हाँ, so I am there and I am different from other. If you just reflect on this quality, so nice, is it not? And same thing is with Krishna. Krishna is also very conscious, is it not? We must learn that Krishna is supremely conscious, Sarvagya. You know that. Abhigya. He knows about everything. You are chanting Hare Krishna. Right now we are reading Bhagavad Gita. He's so happy. Before I go further, Keval Prabha Mataji. Yes, yesterday she asked me, Prabhuji, I'm offering my food to Krishna, but I do not have any feelings. My dear Mataji, my dear Prabhujis, please hear. When I pray that you should not get married, but suppose if you get married and if you have kids, Prabhuji, what kind of the prayer is this? Well, we also pray like, we always pray like this, so that you may not be miserable. Miserable? Anyways, we'll not go into the discussion, but if you have a kid, ekdam bacha, chota bacha, small kid, and you tell him, please tell Papa, please speak Mummy. So if he just speaks Mummy without any bhav, he just speaks it, Mama, Papa, then also don't the parents become very happy?
Yes.
Because he is listening. And if the kid does not listen, don't they become unhappy? Isn't it? So Mahaprabhu, our Mahapapa, our Krishna is saying, Kirtaniya Sada Hari. You please chant Hare Krishna. You please speak about Krishna. And you offer your food to Krishna. Nice, make nice things for food. He also says that in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anybody who offers us nice food to Krishna, I'll take the dust from his feet on my head. That's exact words from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Very nicely offered and nice bhoga is offered to Krishna. So now, then again, Krishna also says, whatever you eat, you please offer to me. So Papa Krishna is telling us to offer his food, offer our food to him. So when we follow the advice, follow the instruction of Papaji, Krishna, Pita, then will he not become happy? We may not be having feelings or not feelings, but we are becoming obedient. Just by being obedient to parents, the parents don't become happy? Does it make sense? Obedience itself is a sense of duty. Oh, I must do that. Obviously, none of the Mataji will offer poison to kill Krishna, is it not? Have you ever tried that? No, not to be tried at home. So if some Mataji Putna has offered poison to Krishna with the desire to kill him, then she was made Mataji in Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan. Then if you offer nice foodstuffs to Krishna, what can be your destination? There is nothing to speak about that. And Prabhupada says that just imagine if your food is accepted by Krishna, how much fortunate you will become. Only difficulty is if we hear about it, then we become enthusiastic to offer our food to Krishna. I will say something about this also. Again, acting as soul. Advaita Char offers very nice bhoga to Krishna and gives prasadam to Mahaprabhu. And then he says, my two hands have become kritartha, have become successful because I have been able to cook for you. Like this. So there are so many things. Any service we can do for Krishna, cooking or anything, is always our greatest asset. So by that kind of hearing in our background, we should be joyous to do that service. Just like I am so enthusiastic because I am able to now get an opportunity to discuss Bhagavad Gita with devotees, which is very dear to Krishna. But in that same Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yume bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti upratam ashnami pratatmanaha. So that is a practical application of Bhagavad Gita. Speaking Bhagavad Gita is dear to Krishna. But you have to also live Bhagavad Gita by offering your food to Krishna. Is it not? Yeah, so is it not that you are living Bhagavad Gita? Then you are pleasing Krishna. Okay? Never be discouraged, my dear devotees. There is no room for discouragement in bhakti. Anyhow, I just drifted a little bit. Sorry for that. The point what I'm trying to explain here is dharma bhut gyan. You cannot take away gyan shakti from the soul. I'll explain this word dharma bhut. Dharma means a property of something the constitutional property of something which cannot be taken away from that object. That is called dharma. Just like dharma of Agni or fire is to burn. The dharma of sugar is sweetness. Light also, yeah. So similarly, dharma bhut gyan, the word dharma bhut gyan would mean that the jnana shakti, that awareness, the consciousness of the soul can never be taken away from the soul. समझ रहे हैं ना धर्म भूत ज्ञान का मतलब? अजय प्रभु समझ रहे हैं कि अच्छा ये समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं समझ में आ रहा है?
जो उसमें से निकालना ना जा सके
That property of any object which cannot be taken away from that object is called its dharma.
तो सेवा बात बताते हैं
That is one. Service is one quality of one dharma of the soul, but that is not the only quality of the soul. Service is one quality, and then knowledge is one another quality. Sachidananda नहीं बोलते हैं. And please go deeper into the subject matter. Amazing thing I heard about this from Jiva Goswami's thing commentary. You know what is the meaning Sat? Sat means eternal. Anand you means Anand. You know what is the meaning of Chid? Gyan. But he says Chid means, he explains this, Chid means self, Swaprakash Gyan. Self-revealing, just like that the Surya is having this light coming from itself. Similarly, the Atma is consciousness is coming from itself. It's not that somebody else is making it conscious. By being part and parcel of Krishna, it itself is conscious. That's why it says dharma bhut gyan. As soon as we talk about service, which is also a dharma of soul, a service can only be rendered by a conscious person. I am serving you. So I must accept I am there, you are there, and I am serving you. I am serving Krishna. So in that also that awareness that I exist, Krishna exists, and I am serving Krishna. So समझ रहे हैं that ज्ञान शक्ति has to be there. Makes sense to you? Okay. So we are aware of our body, we are aware of ourself. Now the problem with the impersonalist is that Brahman is pure consciousness and it does not have any knowledge of itself or of anything else, which is wrong. He says that we have discussed this point, all this duality, that I am there and these other things are there, is all in an illusion. Ultimately, when we are in pure consciousness, there will be no duality. We will not see anything which is different from me. It's complicated, isn't it? Very difficult to understand. How is it possible? It's like dead matter. This mridanga is, or I would not say mridanga, but I'd say this mouse is not aware of itself and not of anything else. I'll repeat this. Maybe I'm going too fast. The mouse means not the running mouse. The mouse which is being used by the laptop, is it aware of its existence, my dear devotees? Is it aware of the existence of others? No, it is not possible. So say basically the goal of impersonalist is to become dead matter. That's what they want, which is also impossible because Atma is Avinashi. Atma cannot be destroyed. The consciousness of the Atma cannot be destroyed. So you see how deep this shloka is? So they are trying to achieve a goal which is impossible. Please hear very carefully. They are trying to achieve a goal which is impossible. Why it is impossible? Lord himself says, Vinasham na kartum arhati kaschit. At no point of time you can destroy the soul. If you say, I'm destroying the Gyan Shakti of soul, or consciousness of the soul, it is same as saying, I'm destroying the soul. But can you destroy the soul? No. So they are trying for impossible things. So that means they will fail.
Yes.
You can achieve a goal by a means if the goal is attainable. But if the goal is impossible, then you cannot attain it by any means. Just like we cannot never become God because that is impossible. Now, Vaishnavas are targeting a goal which is natural. Not even impossible or possible. It's just natural. Think about it. It's not that we have to become servants of Krishna. We are servants of Krishna. Scratch your brains. We don't have to become servants of Krishna. We are servants of Krishna. Maybe I will take this shloka in 2 days, but it's a very important point to be understood. It's not that we have to get consciousness. We have consciousness. Just we have to purify it, and then we will also understand that we are servants of Krishna. समझ रहे हैं? Just like if the child is forgetful, child is forgetful, But parents are not forgetful. He doesn't have to do something to become their child. He is their child. That's like we are naturally the children of our parents in this life. Do we have to do something? I will do some sadhana by which I'll become the daughter of my mother or son of my mother. And it's amazing. No matter how much Brahma Gyan I will give to my mother, her affection for me never goes away. She will only consider, oh, my son, my son, my son. Jitna bhi Brahma Gyan diya jata nahi hai. So in this life also we see the affection of mother and father do not go away. And the relationship is illusory. Then how much is the affection of Krishna to our real father? Nothing we can do by which the Lord's affection will go away. Even if you do something wrong, if He punishes us, that is only out of affection. So that we can become corrected. Does it make sense? I don't think we can complete this shloka today, but let's see it in 2 days also. Not today, but in 2 days. Okay. So this is very clear. Dharma Bhuta Gyan. Is there any questions? If you have to ask on this point, we can take up before we go further. Dharma Bhuta Gyan samajh mein aa raha hai na? Samajh mein aa raha hai means you are able to understand. That means you have knowledge potency, is it not? You are aware that I am speaking, you are understanding. This will be referred again and again in the commentary. Before we go further, you please ask if you have any question. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, you are saying that consciousness cannot be divided or
Destroyed. Yes.
destroyed. Such an example of tubelight. Tubelight's light cannot be divided. We can
Yes.
understand like this.
Not divided, destroyed.
Destroyed.
Yeah, it cannot be destroyed. Yes. We must understand the analogy is limited. It is having light because of the current. But the soul is self-illuminating. It has consciousness of its own. Just to explain the idea, it has been given. Yes, Prabhu.
A long time back, I had heard that US is trying to research on something which they are going to inject a person and make the person forget in terms.
That's a different thing, because you see, he may forget something, but he will not stop remembering something. He will not stop. They can't stop a person from being conscious that he has forgotten.
Yes.
When you have forgotten something, are you conscious that you have forgotten? Suppose you have forgotten your phone somewhere. So you have forgotten the phone, but you are still remembering that you had a phone. Or that you have forgotten something. अरे क्या भूल गया मैं? कुछ तो होता है ना? Just like you understand this point? Consciousness can never be destroyed even during the sleep. It's an amazing point. Even during the sleep, we are conscious. Because when you rise from your sleep, you say, I had a very nice sleep. Can you catch this point? This is from Vedanta Sutra. Very amazing point. When we उठते हैं जब जाग करके बढ़िया नींद के बाद, I had a very nice sleep. That means at that times also you have some experience. Actually the soul is like a witness. It's just like a witness. So there are 3 states of consciousness called Jagriti, Jagrata, Swapna and Sushupti. Turiya is different. Turiya is transcendental stage, but these 3 stages, Jagrit, like right now we are aware, Jagrita, and then Sushupti, Swapnavastha means state of dream, and then Sushupti means dreamless state. Still the soul is conscious in that. So, Pragad Nidra we say in Hindi, but there is no dream. But still the soul is conscious. We say, I slept very nicely. Very subtle points to be understood. Jagriti, Swapnavastha, Swapna and Sushupti. These are the 3 stages. And beyond, these are all material stages. And beyond that is Turiya stage, which is called 4th stage, in which you have realization of Krishna, which is also called the Vasudev stage. Vasudev stage, sorry. That's why the Lord's Father is called Vasudev, because Vasudev refers to the state where you can conceive Krishna or you can have a realization of Krishna. That's why it's called Vasudev stage, because the Lord appeared through Vasudevji. Okay. Whenever you feel whenever you feel hungry, you please send me a sign. I'm hungry. Then we'll stop. But we'll go forward like that. A little bit also we'll read this. No gross object and not even the body of a living entity can destroy that jiva which is indestructible. Avyasya, because it has a very small size. There is nothing which can touch the soul. Very nicely he's explaining, because the soul is so sukshma, so subtle, It cannot be touched by anything. That is also a point. It is not accepted that the jiva is the same size as the material body. Note, this is a Jain theory. No, sometimes people think that is very complicated. All these things, theories are very complicated. The soul is the size of the body.
No.
Is no, but they think like this. They can't understand with a simple point. The tube light's light is pervading all throughout the body. Does not mean that the tube light is of the size of the body. Sorry, size of the room.
What can they say this?
I don't know about the Jains, but they have this very strange. Their understanding is the body is finished, everything is finished. If you ask them, if you actually search their philosophy, what is the goal of life is not very clear. What is the conception of Atma is not very clear. Just like in Bhagavad Gita, when we hear it becomes very crystal clear and everything is logical also. But there it is, doesn't make sense at all. That it is very small is understood from Shruti statements such as the following. Esha anur atma chetasa veditavyo yasmin pranha panchadha samviveshah. This is Esha anur atma, this small atma, small anu means very small atma, on which 5 pranas rest, is to be known by the consciousness. The presence of the soul is to be known by the consciousness, chetasa. समझ रहे ना? A person who leaves the body, how do you know? Because the consciousness is not present. Seeing the unseen by what is seen. Seeing the unseen by what is seen. You can perceive the consciousness. You can't see the soul immediately. Can you see me?
By consciousness.
Yeah, you're saying you are seeing me. You're seeing my body. You're seeing my body. But you are also seeing a conscious person sitting in this body through the consciousness of mind. Is it not? You can perceive I'm a conscious person. They're all subtle points to be understood, but you can understand these points. On the 5 pranas rest, I'll explain this a little bit. The jiva is desiring material enjoyment. Then there is prana shakti, the 5 kinds of prana, by activating those, the Lord will activate that. They will actuate the mind, actuate or say start the mind. So actuate means propagate nahi, just to start the mind, and the mind will start the senses, and the senses will then be engaged in sense gratification, providing sense gratification to the soul, or do anything for that matter. So this is why I'm saying this is explained in Bhagavatam, that he says, Markandeya Rishi says to the Lord, Lord, everything is done by you only. Is it not? The prana is activated by you, everything is done by you. But still, if the living entity does something for you, you become indebted to him. Does it make sense to you? I am, first of all, for material enjoyment, I am desiring something, but I cannot actuate my body. I do not know how this body acts. I desire to speak now, but I don't know how I'm speaking. Does it make sense? So now what is the procedure? I am desiring to speak, let's say about Krishna, and then Krishna says, oh, this Shubh Krishna Prabhu, not Prabhu, Das. He will not say Prabhu to me, he will say Das. So he wants to speak something about me, fine. So then he actuates the prana. Prana is a prana shakti. Just like the JCB acts all with the air pressures, from that you can understand that prana shakti will actuate or activate the mind, and the mind will activate the senses. So this is how the prana is linked with the soul. It's explained in Bhagavatam by Markandeya Rishi. But still, when I do something for Krishna, Krishna says, thank you for speaking on Bhagavad Gita. Is it not?
We can only desire.
We can only desire. All our devotees here, one devotee has very good services, good service, and I appreciate it. Say, no, Prabhuji, I feel uncomfortable. No, I am appreciating Krishna's blessing on you. That you're desiring to serve Krishna, that is one thing, and then Krishna's blessing is upon you. And we see all the devotees, every devotee has different capability, is very unique, and he can serve Krishna. But Krishna is very indebted. And is it not amazing? He does everything, and then he says, oh, my devotee is so nice, he did so nice things for me. Just like, so we should never become proud. I chanted these many rounds. I chanted this, nothing. We cannot chant even one Mahamantra, one name also. We desire, and Krishna by his sweet will comes to our tongue. Hare Krishna. So he comes like that. But still he says, oh, my devotee has done so much chanting for me. Like this. So sweet Krishna is. So we have no control over a desire if we do not have association. If we have association, then our desires will not control us. After this class, like you may right now may have so many desires, but we are still sitting here because we have this buddhi and spiritual intelligence. Now I must hear Bhagavad Gita. Can speak a lot upon this point, but what I wanted to say, I wanted to explain how the pranas are linked with the Atma. That much I wanted to explain. समझ में आ रहा है ना?
I am not getting how this prana is activating the.
That we don't have to understand. You are saying that you are not able to understand how the prana is activating the mind. That we can't understand. But one thing you can see, sometimes this is a theory of Ayurveda, not theory, the fact of Ayurveda, that the any problem in the body is because of imbalance of prana. That's why when you do pranayam, all your bodily diseases go away. Because the prana get balanced. So all the whole body is actually actuated by prana. If I'm moving my hands like this, is by prana. If you're thinking, that is by prana, the energy of prana. And then if you are any activity of the body is done through prana. Okay. So the idea is that the soul desires to enjoy, and the Lord facilitates that enjoyment by actuating the prana, by doing this thing. And also we see sometimes people have paralysis. Why is like that? Because the prana energy doesn't flow in that body properly. Even if I want to act, the hand will not act. Is it not? So like this. Okay, we'll just take 10 minutes more if that is okay with the devotees here. Yeah, if their pranas are not disturbed too much. Prana pana samayuktaha pachave mannam chaturvidham. The Lord himself says that I'll conjoin with the pranas, I digest the food. So you understand this point? Yes. See, all this information we can only have from Bhagavatam. I cannot explain more than that. That much only is explained. The idea is that everything is done by the Lord, and then he becomes indebted to devotee for doing the service. Nice, is it not? However, that infinitesimal jiva spreads throughout the body through its capacity to know objects other than itself, dharma bhuta gyan. So this is very easy to understand. The soul is expanding through the body, within the body, through consciousness. I'd like to complete the commentary at least, and then tomorrow we'll take Srila Prabhupada's purport. Thus the Lord, as the author of Vedanta Sutra says, Gunad va alokavad. The soul is pervasive like light. Now you understand? Please hear very carefully. The soul, if I say sun is pervasive like light, it doesn't mean that sun is not having a form. So do not think that sun is only light. Sun has light. Sun tejumay, it is full of light, but sun also has a form. Yes. So please do not think that soul is only light. Then we will have a conception the soul has an impersonal aspect. No, the soul has light, is self-effulgent, but it also has a form. Because it is part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna has a form, and the soul also has a form. Makes sense to you? In the Gita also the Lord says, Yatha prakashyati ekah. Just as one sun lights up the whole world, this Atma illumines the whole body, O descendant of Bharata. Oh, I thought that commentary would be long. I can speak long. It finished earlier. Let me just take the feedback of the devotees. My dear devotees, your body or are you soul? Prabhuji, we are the body, 9 o'clock, we are the body, 9 o'clock, we are the body. Maharaj was making a joke. Yes, we can talk, we are soul, not the body. But when we are hungry at that time, arey, gyan yaad nahi aa raha hai. We are not able to remember this knowledge at the time of food. So now, if you want, we can complete it, or should we complete it? I think you are saying yes. Everybody is saying yes. So nobody is saying no. So we'll go ahead and then go forward. It's very easy now. The whole thing will be very easy to understand. Purport. This verse more clearly explains the real nature of the soul, which is spread all over the body. Now you understand very easily by consciousness. Anyone can understand what is spread all over the body. It is consciousness. Clear? Everyone is conscious of the pains and pleasures of the body in part or as a whole. This is very interesting. The body is not conscious, but you and me are conscious. We are conscious that we have some pain in our body. So for having that knowledge, I must feel or understand that I'm different from the body. Is it not?
Yes.
I'm not the body, but I'm experiencing the pains and pleasure of the body.
Some parts are not.
Parts of the body or of the body. So definitely you are seeing yourself different from the body. Is it not? You are a different person than the body. That's why you're feeling that. समझ में आ रहा होगा. And we are conscious that we have understood. Conscious तो समझ ही ना. Aware. It's very difficult for understanding this point. This spreading of consciousness is limited within one's own body. This is very easy to understand. I can understand pains and pleasure of my body. You can understand yours. The pains and pleasures of one body are unknown to another. Therefore, each and every body is the embodiment of an individual soul, and the symptom of the soul's presence is perceivable as individual consciousness. Just like all of you are hearing Bhagavad Gita collectively, yes, but actually all of you are hearing Bhagavad Gita individually. All of us are appreciating Bhagavad Gita individually, depending on our consciousness. The more person is purified in consciousness, the more he will relish Bhagavad Gita. Is it not? When we give class, a new person will say, "Kya bol rahe hai?" I don't know. He seems to be speaking English, but doesn't make sense to me. It's the same thing. Everybody is chanting Hare Krishna, but different consciousness. We want to have prasadam soon, my dear devotees. Don't worry. Soon we're going to have prasadam, and we will have individual appreciation of prasadam. No light, no sound. This soul, I will not have to explain anything. We will read it and you'll understand. This soul is described as 1/10,000th part of the upper portion of the hair point in size, a point of joke. Muhurijan Prabhu, sometimes, Srila Prabhupada's disciple, he says that when a person is offended in this world, what does he say? Don't you know who I am? Don't you know who I am? Say, yes, I know who you are. You are 1/10,000th of the tip of hair. So now if we understand that we are only such a small person, it's natural to become humble, is it not? We will never say, Janta nahi main kaun hu? I will tell my own experience. One time in Kartik, there was one security person. I'm a temple manager. So there was one security person on the side of Radha Shyam Sundar, and he stopped me. And at that time, my false ego just flared up. Don't you know who? Well, I did not say anything to him, but in my own mind, I was saying, doesn't he know who am I? I'm a temple manager and this and that. From there, you understand. So every time a person does that to you or to us, we should check how our mind is reacting. Don't you know who am I? And then you can ask a question, do you know who you are? Very practical lessons. The Shvetashvatar Upanishad confirms this. Balagra shatabhagasya shatadha kalpitasya cha bhago jiva saviggeya sachanantaya kalpate. When the upper point of a hair, bal agra shatabhagasya, bal agra, tip of the hair, shatabhagasya, you divide into 100 parts. Then shatadha kalpitasya cha, then you think you divide it again into 100 parts. So 100 into 100 is one part into another 100 parts, so that is 10,000 times. Bhago jive sa viggeya. So viggeya means you understand that bhag, that small part is jiva. Such a anantaya kalpate, and such living entities are unlimited in number. They themselves are not unlimited. Because on the first part of the shloka it is mentioned that it is 1/10,000 of a tip of hair. So it cannot be unlimited in terms of magnitude. They are unlimited in terms of number. We as souls are unlimited in terms of number, but we are not unlimited individually. नहीं समझ में आ रहा है? Are you unlimited? Are the jivas unlimited? Are the number of living entities unlimited? Now you understand. So Anantaya Kalpate means they are unlimited in terms of number, but they themselves are not unlimited. अपने से भगवान नहीं हो गया. Unlimited is only Krishna. Individually, they are not unlimited, but in terms of number, they are unlimited. When the upper point of a hair is divided into 100 parts, and again each of such part is further divided into 100 parts, each such part is the measurement of the dimension of the spirit soul. It's easy. Similarly, the easy to understand, difficult to apply. Think about it. If I am so small, do I need so many things to maintain myself? Is it not? Do I need a really big job to maintain myself? Think about it.
Life like that.
Pure life. Ye chahiye, wo chahiye. Really? Do we need that much? Scratch your brains. I will say something which the Matajis will definitely not like. Let me just see and how their reaction is. Do you need 15 dresses, 30 dresses to wear every day a different dress? But that is a natural desire of Mataji, especially. This dress today, that dress today. This is all because of bodily consumption. Prabhupada used to say that even in India, an old man will have one dhoti, he will wash it and wear every day clean dhoti. And I remember also in my college days, when I was not a devotee, we will not wash the cloth. We just put some scent and then put it back again. Is it not jeans and pant and all those things, which anyhow don't dry properly. So some practical lessons to be heard, accepted. Prabhuji, this part I just don't like. If you speak this, I'm not going to come to your class again. There's too much. Why are you hitting on our attachments? Why? Because if we understand this, if we minimize our need necessities, those same resources can be shared and with others. That is the point I'm trying to say. That is a mood of a devotee. That is natural mood of a devotee. Keshagra, same point. Keshagra shata bhagasya shatansha sadrishatmatah jiva sukshma sarupoyam sankhyatito hi chitkanaha. Same. There are innumerable particles of spiritual atoms which are measured as 1/10,000 of the upper portion of the hair. Okay, is it? Therefore, the individual particle of spirit soul is a spiritual atom smaller than the material atoms, and such atoms are innumerable. And please hear very carefully. Not only it is small, but it is completely different from any material atom, because none of the material atoms are conscious. But spirit soul, although being very atomic in size, is conscious. And is it not amazing? Even if we are so small, we can be so powerful. Just imagine the soul being so small is so powerful. It does so much wonderful things. One soul is Brahmaji, is it not? Then can you imagine the capacity of Krishna, who's actually all-pervading soul? All-pervading soul. Kalpana kar sakte hain Bhagwan ki shakti ka. There is nothing what the Lord cannot do. If the living, just an amazing lesson. The living entity is so small, does so wonderful things. Then what the Lord cannot do is actually all-pervading, Anant, and spiritual. Everything is spiritual about Lord. This very small spiritual spark is the basic principle of the material body, and the influence of such a spiritual spark is spread all over the body as the influence of the active principle of some medicine is spread throughout the body. Very simple. You put the medicine somewhere and the medicine spreads throughout all the body. Similarly, the soul is in the heart region, but the consciousness of the soul is pervading all throughout the body. Very easy to understand. This current of the spirit soul is felt all over the body as consciousness, and that is the proof of the presence of the soul. I have explained this point. Seeing the unseen by what is seen. You can perceive the consciousness. By that you can understand the soul is there in the body. It's very simple. Very interesting also. When there is death in our family, we say, "Oh, my father has died. He has gone away. He's gone away." He has gone away, but the person whom you identified as your father is lying there. This is something very nice. What is the experience of devotees? The person with whom you identified as your father is lying there. So who has gone away? So soul. But the soul you have never seen in this life.
Consciousness is not.
Yeah, consciousness is not there, so you are seeing. The soul is not seen, and the person whom you are seeing, you are still seeing. So whom are you crying for? This is how we are becoming illusion. I'll just finish this. Any layman can understand that the material body minus consciousness is a dead body, and this consciousness cannot be revived in the body by any means of material administration. All the ingredients, Prabhupada was giving this argument. If you say consciousness can be developed by matter, so just after the death, all the matter, all the ingredients are there in the body. Can you make a person alive? It just cannot work. So consciousness cannot be created by combination of matter. This was Srila Prabhupada's very strong argument against the scientists. They always say like this, yes, it will be happening in 2020, in 2000. And you can see all those years have come by, they have not been able to make even one living entity. Therefore, consciousness also, by this we must understand, this world is material. You do not belong to this place. Don't be attached to anything here. Whenever somebody gives me Lakshmi, I think how to spend this Lakshmi for Krishna. Anyhow, this Lakshmi is going to be taken away. Suppose if I die today. So think about it, how to use your energy, your time, your whatever for Krishna's service. We don't belong to this place. Our only purpose of existence should be to spread Krishna's glories. And for that, we have to maintain the body. Be intelligent to understand this. Therefore, consciousness is not due to any amount of material combination, but to the spirit soul. Very easy to understand. Not so easy for the scientists because they are not so intelligent. In the Mundak Upanishad, the measurement of the atomic spirit soul is further explained. Same point. Esha anur atma chetasa veditavyo yasmin pranha panchadha samvivesha. We have read this in the commentary. Pranes chittam sarvam otam projanam yasmin vishuddhe vibhavayati esha atma. The soul is atomic in size and can be perceived by perfect intelligence, but not like this Mataji's. This Mataji means the photo which is being shown here with telescope. By empirical means, by telescope you cannot see the Atma. You have to hear by hearing from Shabda Pramana, and then having that spiritual intelligence, that spiritual vision, then we develop. This atomic soul, sometimes I make a joke, like this to be a ad. अरे शरीर के लिए बादाम और दांतों के लिए कोयला. You have seen that? For a dant manjan. That for your body you are feeding badam, but you are doing your paste with some charcoal. Similarly, I say this, for your body you have so much nice foodstuffs, but for Atma you have koila, charcoal, you have nothing for the Atma. The Atma is getting completely black by sense gratification. No, the Atma should be cleaned by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. This is the food of the soul. This atomic soul is floating in the 5 kinds of air. Pran, Apan, Vyan, Saman, and Udan. Udan is situated within the heart and spreads its influence all over the body of the embodied living entities. This also we have explained very clearly. The living entity desires, and these pranas are actuated by the Supreme Lord, who is also situated within the heart as Paramatma, and then all the functions of the body are taken care of. Okay. So, when the soul is purified from the contamination of the 5 kinds of material airs, its spiritual influence is exhibited. That means by balancing the air, prana, the living entity's mind is purified. His desires are purified. And in that way. But how it happens by Hatha Yoga, I don't know. So don't ask that question. That is not our point of discussion. We simply purify our consciousness by directly chanting Hare Krishna. Okay. The Hatha Yoga system is meant for controlling the 5 kinds of air, encircling the pure soul by different kinds of sitting postures, not for any material profit, but for liberation of the minute soul from the entanglement of the material atmosphere. We know this point, that the yogis will lift the pranas above and above and above, and then they will, if they are perfect, they will burst the Brahmarandra, that means the cerebral hole, and the soul will go from there to Vaikuntha. But that is for perfect yogis. So that is a mechanical procedure for doing like that. So the constitution of the atomic soul is admitted in all Vedic literatures, and it is also actually felt in the practical experience of any sane man. Only the insane man can think of this atomic soul as all pervading Vishnu Tattva. पागल लोग ही सोचेंगे कि आत्मा सब जगह है. I have seen actually one so-called sadhu was there and he was being interviewed, and he was being asked, "Do you feel the pain of others?" And he was saying yes, and that fellow was also accepting it. We cannot feel the pain of others. We may say this, I feel your pain, but you can't feel your pain. And yeah, you can by sentiments you can understand. But suppose somebody has a 104-degree temperature, can we do anything? I mean, we can give him medicine, but we cannot share his load on us. Does that make sense? Everybody is eating his own soup, and Krishna is the cook. किसी के कर्म से कुछ भी कम नहीं कर सकते. We cannot remove even 1% from anybody's karma unless he does bhakti. So the only way we can really help him is bhakti. As soon as, please hear very carefully, as soon as a person accepts bhakti, Krishna immediately accepts him. I must deliver him. Madiyo ayam sarvatha madrakshaniyo. Siddha Swami says, this person belongs to me and it's my duty to protect him. Please reflect upon it. When you chant Hare Krishna, we have discussed the shloka, Krishna becomes Rini. He becomes indebted to that person. He has chanted my name. So when you become indebted to that person, will you not do something good for that person? Yes. Suppose now you're very hungry, and if I relieve you, will you not be indebted to me? And if you're really hungry or suffering and somebody gives you nice prasadam, will you not like to do something good for him?
I know.
Try to understand this point. We don't have the capacity to do good, but we would like to do good to him in case there is something. And how much capacity Krishna has? Endless. That's why I say Harinam. You chant Hare Krishna. Krishna becomes indebted to a person who chants Hare Krishna. And then what to talk of a person who spreads Krishna name, Krishna Naam. Even to one person, if you can convince him to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna is eternally indebted to you. Very important point. So I'm saying that, and also he's all pervading. Wherever you are serving Krishna, he knows what service you are doing, with what attitude we are doing. Make sense to you? So we are insignificant, but Krishna knows everything, and our service attitude is very, very significant. We'll go further on this. The influence of the atomic soul can be spread all over a particular body. According to the Mundak Upanishad, this atomic soul is situated in the heart of every living entity, and because the measurement of the atomic soul is beyond the power of appreciation of the material scientist, some of them assert foolishly that there is no soul. This is very simple to understand. They cannot see the soul, then I don't see the soul, I don't accept the soul. Then you ask them, do you see your intelligence? I cannot see your intelligence, that means you have no intelligence. Is it not? Doesn't work like that. The individual atomic soul is definitely there in the heart along with the super soul, and thus all the energies of bodily movement are emanating from this part of the body, this heart region. And you must remember, just because the super soul and soul are staying together, they are not at the same level. Super soul is super soul. He is a controller. The corpuscles which carry the oxygen from the lungs gather energy from the soul. This is nice. If you read Science of Self-Realization, Srila Prabhupada discusses with one heart specialist from where that energy is coming. The soul is giving that energy. When the soul passes away from this position, the activity of the blood generating fusion ceases. आप समझते हैं ना, ऑक्सीजन का ट्रांसफर वगैरह सब होता है. So now this is quite interesting. Have you ever thought who is pumping, from where the pumping capacity of heart comes? And just imagine, the soul is inexhaustible in terms of energy. And then how much we can talk about Krishna, how much inexhaustible he must be. How much means completely inexhaustible. Aware. Amazing. Medical science accepts the importance of the red corpuscles, but it cannot ascertain that the source of the energy of the soul, because they have not heard in parampara. Something which is very easy for you to understand, for me to understand, a scientist cannot understand. They are doing a lot of research on consciousness. Why you are doing research on consciousness? Why don't you spend 150 rupees and buy Bhagavad Gita and understand it? That they cannot understand. Medical science, however, does admit that the heart is the seat of all energies of the body. So this is kind of confirmed. But please hear very carefully. Even if the science gives some confirmation to the Vedic knowledge, the Vedic knowledge is not waiting for the confirmation of the science. We should accept Vedic knowledge yathavat as it is. We don't have to wait for the confirmation from science. They may confirm or not confirm, just beyond their capacity. Just like they have confirmed that there are antiseptic properties in cow dung, but they don't understand that it is pure also. They can never understand. Purity is different from antiseptic thing. Just like you say, borolene is also antiseptic, but borolene you don't apply on Krishna's body.
Yes.
Is it not? And maybe who knows whether it is impure or pure? We don't know. Such atomic particles of the spirit's whole are compared to the sunshine molecules. Very easy to understand. In the sunshine, there are innumerable radiant molecules. Similarly, the fragmental parts of the Supreme Lord are atomic sparks of the rays of the Supreme Lord, called by the name Prabha, or superior energy. Yasya prabha prabhavato jagadanda koti koti shushesh vasudhadi vibhuti bhinnam tad brahma nishkalam anantam ashesha bhutam govindam adi purusham tamham bhajami. From the Lord, this whole Brahmajyoti is emanating, and that Brahmajyoti is consisting of the spiritual sparks called atoms, called souls, like that. So whether one follows Vedic knowledge or modern science, one cannot deny the existence of the spirit soul in the body, and the science of the soul is explicitly described in the Bhagavad Gita by the personality of Godhead himself, who knows the science of the soul as it is because he knows everything. The only difficulty with this dear scientists is that they do not want to accept the Lord. So I think the science of the soul is clear to you. Is there any question?